You crazy mother. Yeah.
It's just BurnEye.
BurnEye just like last week, huh?
Weekend at Bernie's.
All right. Hope everyone had a blessed, happy Easter weekend. And we are coming in this morning, a Old Maps Monday marathon. Well, not quite a marathon, but mind-blowing revelations. That's what this is. This is a Monday Old Maps mind-blowing edition for everyone. What am I talking about? I'm talking about I've got 5, that's correct, 5 points of these old maps that prove undeniably of a previous worldwide advanced civilization that had to have existed pre-Younger Dryas catastrophe event. Why do we know this? How do we know this? Well, Number one, the Great Lakes do not exist in the maps. Well-detailed rivers going in where the Great Lakes should be, but they are not there. There is no Great Lakes in these old maps. And, well, what's another revelation that has come out recently? Well, it's that there are megaliths at the bottom of all of the Great Lakes. That is correct. You heard it right. Structures resembling miniature version of Stonehenge has been discovered beneath Lake Michigan, specifically in Grand Traverse Bay, and that there's actually several different ancient megalithic sites and prehistoric underwater structures below all of the Great Lakes. That means that humans existed and lived and built structures, megalithic structures, in this land at a time before the Great Lakes existed. And what did we just look at? We looked at images of maps. But let's take a little look first before we go back to the maps. If my computer will load images. Nope. Oh, it wants to be frozen. It could have been. It could have been 5. Yeah, it's actually quite possible. It would mean the whole carbon dating and all the other age stuff is a sham. It's also possible that there could have been a multiple massive catastrophes. That is another possibility. But that what I suspect is 500 years ago, there was some sort of cataclysm reset. And here, right, they're showing elephants or mastodon or mammoths in Lake Michigan. So over 9,000. So now over 12,000 more likely years of age. Oh, Lake Huron here, we got a bunch of megalithic structures. We got the stone alignment structure. All sorts of crazy stuff, astrological aligned megalithic stuff in these Great Lakes beneath them. And clearly showing megaliths were probably pre-cataclysm as well, the megalith builders. And we're going to go back to the maps. And again, clearly see no Great Lakes, and instead a great river that goes all the way inland to what looks like the Continental Divide. Or I guess that's the Continental Divide, and this is where the Mississippi now is, but it didn't, it flowed out. There was no Mississippi back then. Interesting. And yeah, look at that. No Mississippi back then. Very, very crucial information. Now, what we also see a much larger South America, and we also have Antarctica sticking all the way out to the tip of South America, and it is called Terra Australis. Okay, so that means they also had Australia over here, all the way up, and it's green. It's painted, drawn green, indicating potential habitat or fauna, plant life, vegetation. Sorry, and that the seas were obviously the oceans were lower back then, and that's why things were larger. But was it all ice too? Because it's also called Terra de Fuego, land of fire. When they say fire, is it freezing? And this is not Australia, and this is not New Zealand. This is the correct area, and this is Australia, New Zealand. So, what was this island? Is this Lemuria, possibly? Potentially, as the legends say? I think that could be. Another thing is, so all the rivers, we are now finding all of the rivers in these ancient maps, okay, covering Africa and the Sahara. All right, this is desert now, but 10,000 years ago, as the modern timeline goes and evidence, geological records and stuff, it had rivers 10,000, 12,000 years ago, and a jungle back then. And now through satellites imagery, we're finding the buried, dried out river beds of these exact correctly placed rivers in such places as Africa, all right, and Northeast Asia, all right, that are all now dried up deserts. They find these rivers through the satellite imagery. So that's number 3 of absolute evidence of a prior pre-cataclysm mapped out worlds that you can see. Japan, much larger, different. And what else was there? Oh, yes, of course. The North Poles, or the North Pole itself, the poles. This will finish off number 4 and 5. First, we'll start with the North Pole, the 4 islands with the inner rivers going to, some say Mount Meru. What is it labeled here? Or is that, yeah, something interesting? And look, Iceland, Greenland. And what was this? That was Friesland that no longer exists on all the ancient maps. It does. And it's the California region. That's like Alaska and Northwest Territories today. It's called California region back in the day. Unless that could have been a modern day nation. This one, definitely real map. And They're just starting to plot out, but it still looks like it's mostly rivers and they don't have the Great Lakes. They're resettling in here and exploring, but they still don't know about the Great Lakes or just like starting to get to it. And again, they're starting to get to South America around it. They no longer see they've erased, so they've been able to sail around the tip and notice that this Antarctic Terra Australis isn't there anymore. Not as far, so or it's further, so they've erased it. And you can see that some of the rivers are drying up in there, but they still have a river with a big lake in town in the middle. As well as a South America big lake town in the middle as well, still. And what's this over here? Oh, maybe they have Australia there now that they found. Including it, but see, still here, connected to Antarctica. And also is Antarctica, and Antarctica exists on the old ones, even though now we're looking at the area of Tartaria, which is number 6. But we'll get back to that. We're going back to number 5, Terra Australis, and see Terra Australis. And what does that say? I'm not sure. And what is this here? Not sure. But they have Antarctica. Look, there's even towns written on the coast of this Antarctic shelf going into South America. South America, all of these rivers mapped all the way through and stuff like, and they're old. They don't, this one doesn't exist anymore to my knowledge. And just wild. So maybe there was a mass catastrophe just 500 years ago. It could be possible. Could be possible. Shout out Chris, living in New Zealand. Good to see you, brother. So Haiti at the time in America and Gulf of Mexico. Oh, so here is a precedent, Mr. Trump, of Gulf of America. Here we have Gulf of Mexicano, and that was while they were still mapping the North Pole with 4 islands. Hadn't really rediscovered. This is an inland lake. That's not Hudson Bay, which is over here. And again, look, see, no Great Lakes. So again, at a time when we were still mapping a different river system of the US and no Great Lakes in America. It was called the Gulf of Mexicano. So, yes, the Straight Dope, this is live. Good day. Hope you had a blessed Easter weekend. And this is the rewriting of history because they clearly were transferring or copying the ancient maps of what they hadn't yet explored or known or recolonized, and or they were actually traveling all the way in here and there's actually cities and the Great Lakes did not exist yet. Okay, so what's going on? It's either pre-cataclysm maps or again, no Great Lakes. Again, rivers in Africa and through the Sahara. Okay. Again, Terra Australis connected to Antarctica. What is that? Here. This. this raising serious questions about hollow earth and inner earth. Okay, so you gotta give it a possibility in the fact that these ancient maps of a prior before cataclysm with a different seabed level had these 4 islands with water going into what was this magnetic mountain thing of legend past, and that there's like midgets and giants on a couple of the islands. And then look, you had Greenland fully mapped with rivers and the mountain ranges and everything. Okay, that's no easy task. It had Iceland, and then they had this Friesland that there's books, supposed fiction books of the history of Friesland and how they existed, yet it was supposedly fictional, yet it also existed on all the old maps. So tell me how that is a possibility. It is not. Scotland, what? See, look at what was Scotland and something. But like, is that Ireland? But no, I don't think so. Like, what? Very strange. Um, and again, this is not Hudson's Bay. And what is this island blocking in and out of it? And these lakes along the mountain chain. Fascinating stuff. Very fascinating. Interesting in regards to Northwest Europe as well as Baltics. Look at this 90 degrees and this mapping into all of these rivers and mountain systems. Like this was supposedly uninhabited and also like undiscovered and mapped on Western maps until like Stalin, basically, I think, or the Soviets, or right before it's like the last of the czars. And now we're at Tartaria, the same area that we were just focused in on, but actually labeled as Tartaria. Here's those same inland rivers and channels and lakes. And now we actually also see these towns and like population centers along these rivers and inlets and the coastline. And why would that be? Why would they just make all of that up and it appear on all of the maps? Unless it existed at the time that they created this and it was not a frozen desert wasteland, and instead Turkestan. Wow, look, Turkestan in Tartaria back in the day. Rivers feeding into the Caspian Sea, the Black Sea, Crimea, Moscow area owned Crimea at this point. So Tartaria was at its very waning point, because usually Crimea is referred to as Little Tartaria and part of the Tartarian Empire. And here you can see how small it is and shrunken. And look at all these coastal towns. And look at what Japan looks like back then. And on all the old maps, they had Japan looking like this, where it was all messed up. And all of these settlements back then. Now, did they just copy them from ancient maps and give them new names, but didn't have any idea that they had been wiped out for thousands or tens of thousands of years? Who knows? Or was it like this just not that long ago? It really does bring up quite the question and predicament of when was the last most recent cataclysm, and what timeline does this actually depict? American Elder Basel something, Oriens, Rio Tugias, Chichucher, Totontius, Chicagna. Wow. Wow. California. Like what? How? Wow. Wow. That's mind blowing. They're all mind blowing. Again, look, we got rivers going in and no Great Lakes. No Great Lakes. This is a very old one. I think they made prints of them and then taking copies of the prints as well for some of these older maps. Like now there's an island, but still, this is Australia. Now look at, there's a bigger distance. Oh, no, sorry, that's Africa. South America still have it here and still have this different island here. That is definitely not Australia because Australia is right there. And that's right. So Antarctica wasn't supposed to have been discovered, and they just try to claim that, oh, Antarctica and Australia weren't discovered, even though they exist on all the old previous maps just as one big thing. So what, like, who is stupid enough to actually look at these and be like, oh my god, humans, they didn't discover, we didn't discover Antarctica and Australia just until a couple hundred years ago. But if you look at any map from the 15 and 1400s prior, they're labeled as Terra Australis and all one. All right, so does that, we just magically made that up, right, in the past because we were just, dumb hunter gatherers. So we just magically made everything up that exists now with the same names and just hadn't discovered it yet, right? That's how it works. That's our official history. Like, mind blown. Mind's blown. All right, this is an old one of the Tartarian area, but not even labeled as such. I don't know. Oh, here we got a Russian Soviet one. What the hell is this? Yellow to red. I am not sure. Not sure on that. Here we have a Tartaria. And it was extending into, see, Japan's normal now. Korea's normal. Kuril Island. So yeah, like they're all up in there. But still Tartaria. Again, we got the 4 northern islands. We've got this inland sea here. And big coast, but no Great Lakes. Again, no Great Lakes in North America. Again, Terra Australis. Again, look at this. People or civilizations documented throughout. Again, another map of Africa and the Sahara filled with rivers and lakes called Libya Inter-Sahara. Wow. Yani. Like literally everything has been called the same since the beginning of time. Just wild. Just wild. Massive rivers everywhere. Nubia. And all of these still existing, possibly rivers that we now find on satellites. Again, look at all the inhabitation, the colonialization, and no Great Lakes. Why? Because originally they didn't exist. And here they're still drawing South America like this because they haven't gone and explored yet. And they're still labeling Antarctica with cities and connecting because they haven't explored yet. So it's like as they explore, as time progresses, you see the maps start to um, progress to the modern topography and geography that we find today compared to what they were drawing and depicting in the previous civilization and Precataclysm. Here we have an Arabic map. And again, Antarctica with Australia as one. And again, South America right next to it. Again, the four islands. Again, the big rivers in Africa. Okay, the big rivers up here in Northeast Asia. All right, and this is an Arabic map, okay? So in Arabia, they've got just as much or less detail as they do in the rest of the world for that time period. Like, look at that. How is that possible? What makes sense? It does not appear to be out of North America under ice at that time. No, because there's the four islands further north, right? And like, what's this up here? Like, and so this is an Arabic map depicting the world like this as well, and it's got just as much detail in Arabia as the rest. Fascinating stuff. Because how does that make sense unless they were all global worlds traveling? And here's another one. And so a lot of the older ones, the oldest ones, had California as an island, or the Baja Peninsula as an island still. And look, so they've explored up north, and they've got to Hudson Bay here, and they still have not found the Great Lakes. Like, this is very interesting. Of what time period was the Great Lakes discovered or formed? Because look at this again, the inland, big inland ocean at the top, but then this inland river system, and like, what's this river, double river island, and then this island city, and you've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 water channel trading outlets to that civilization and documented city in the heart of the jungle of modern day Brazil. And it's even called Brazil back then. Right? Very, very fascinating stuff. the northern part of America. So this is in English, obviously. America, Mexicana, Francicia, Treto de Indian. Still the four northern islands. Like, why do they still have Friesland here? Circulus Arcticus. Circulus Arcticus. Gamma Mexicana. Ariane. Rango. So, like, just mind blowing. Shalaga. So they still have Shalaga and no Great Lakes. And there's Francia. So French are green. Red English or Spanish? Red or Spanish or yellow? I'm not sure. Fascinating stuff. And Terra Australis. Influence Solomons. Okay, so there's Solomons. So maybe this is, I don't know. But still, right next to each other, and still these settlements. Okay, they still have settlements there. I don't understand it. Greenland. Africa, Libya interior, green jungle, Sahara, interior lakes and river systems, Mar Mediterranean. Like, all the maps. Every single one. Every single one of them has it. And look, still no Great Lakes. Nova something else. Terra Australis down there. Terra something else. Like, that's Australia. Still African rivers, Sahara rivers and lakes. What is this? Look at the lakes and rivers with names of all the towns and cities. Just wild. Again, the northern islands, North Pole Islands. Another Arabic map, again, showing the exact same stuff. Look at this one. Boom. With Antarctica, with the inlets in South America, and like no Great Lakes. We got some inlets, bays, but no Great Lakes. And like Arabia is just depicted with as much detail as every other area in the map. So what does that tell us? What does that really tell us? How is... I bet you some say here be the dragons. I'm not sure what all of the maps are. I'm gonna have to. It seems like it's all pre-Ice Age stuff. It has to be. It's like this is Ice Age stuff. Like, look at where Antarctica and Australia are. They're connected as one. It's Terra Australis. and like wild. It's just wild. Oh yeah, everything shows wild mountain ranges. Everything is well documented with the mountain ranges. Like, look, mountain range separating the rivers. So look, they've gotten to the mountain range, which is the continental divide of America at that time, with the rivers all the way up, but no freaking Great Lakes. All right, that's pretty intense. I have to I'll go back and find the original sources with the higher resolution imaging or images to actually be able to read and find the specific dates that they were published and whatnot. America True India Nova. And Haiti being a country, or the island nation of Haiti, all the way back at the time that we were still depicting the poles with 4 islands at the north, Terra Australis and South Pole connected as one. Oh, but we got Cuba in normal shape. No Great Lakes yet. Maybe. Yeah, they were all on acid. They were all on acid together and just made up like this Terra Australis Antarctica that was not known about whatsoever. Not known about. They just made it up. Look here again, Asia, the area of where Tartaria was. I don't think it's labeled as such here though. Maybe it is. But point being, all the rivers still there, mountain ranges everywhere, all documented with everything. So look at this. Here we have the Antarctica, we have South America, we have North America, India. What the heck is this? Fascinating. And here we go. This is what's really wild, is that Antarctica under the ice looks like this. We didn't find that out until the 1960s or 1970s, yet here it is on the old dist maps. And South America, again, almost touching the base. And look, so there's mountains along the sides or the edges. So it's like that can't be ice if there's mountain ranges. And again, you have the 4 pole islands at the north, also depicted. Undeniable. Boom. There it is. That should blow y'all's mind because this is what it looks like under the ice. Another one. Rivers in Africa. Rivers across Shalaga. We've got Shalaga. We've got a river from the coast all the way to Shalaga, but no Great Lakes. What does that mean? That means it had to be from this time frame when people were living there and building there, and we found it now, and there was mastodons and mammoths, and they were making megaliths and stone ancient astrological calendars in what is now the Great Lakes. So there we have evidence of people living there. And now we also look back and we have evidence of an advanced civilization going there and mapping it before the last cataclysm during the last ice age, or what we call the ice age. What was it really, and what was actually going on? Patagonium, meaning giants. Original America ME. America Stefan Trion, Mar del Norte. Ethiopicus Oceanus, Orientalis, Guinea, rivers through Africa, through the Sahara. And look, right on the north here, a major city still marked. A couple of cities marked in here. Why would that be unless they were important? And again, Terra Australia, or here it's Terra de Fuego, I think. That piece. And I think we've gone through these ones, so we will close that. And let's look at this one, maybe. All right, look at that. Again, no Great Lakes. River all the way up. River all the way up. No Great Lakes. Mountain range separating the middle. River going to the Pacific side. Why would that be if they haven't been there? And Terra Australis still existing with Antarctica. There we go again. Another one of these maps showing the landmass of the continent of Antarctica with less ocean water. So here's the thing. Modern day, it's a bit smaller, and that this piece is broken off from this piece, and there's a channel that goes through it. So Antarctica is actually two pieces. So here it's showing the Earth, land, or the ocean, less ocean and more land. Now they're starting to rewrite the history of the North Pole and the South Pole, and they're erasing them from the maps from the previous times, no longer including them in. They still have the African rivers. They still have the inland rivers here. And then what are they starting to find? Are these the Great Lakes starting to emerge in here, sort of thing? Or was this a massive flood that happened? Or what exactly is going on? Very interesting. Very interesting time periods. What a time for us to be alive, be here exploring together. What the heck is this? Again, Oceanus Perunus, Peru, existing long before it should in the maps, as with Chile. Chile and Peru existing long before they ever supposed to have existed. And the rivers explored with towns and cities and settlements throughout. And California, the Baja Peninsula, Chilaga, still again. Chilaga. Oh, Gulf of Mexico. Sorry, Trump. Virginia, France, Nolan, Oa, Mexicana, America, Agama again, and of course Circus, Arcticus, Greenlandus. Like, how? How? Not supposed to exist, but yet here it all is. Hadn't been discovered or named yet, but here it exists. Discovered, depicted, and named. And boom, this right here is what's mind blowing. This is Antarctica underneath the ice. This is the modern day two piece and the water ocean that separates them. So, what in the actual F? How did they get that? Now they're actually showing Australia as well, separated. So that's this one is freaking. When is this from? And how did I'm trying to comprehend how this works. Like, they don't have the North Pole ones there anymore. They have what? Like, that's pretty much what Australia looks like, but that's accurate. This, like, maybe they sailed around once, sort of thing. Wild. How did they get this, though? How did they get the South Pole under the ice, the two separated modern day continental pieces? Like, look, this right here and this right here today, that's a big channel, and there's an inland ocean like this under the ice. How the heck did they depict it right here? I don't get it. Like, and here's with mountain ranges. There are Australis, both of them together. Just wild, wild stuff. Look at it, Madcam, Brazil, and the names of the cities inside. This wasn't supposed to have been explored, yet they have rivers, names, and towns and civilizations throughout. And how are there towns and civilization on both sides? Doesn't make sense. Terra del Fuego. I interesting times. Again, we have no Great Lakes whatsoever. Did the new Great Earthquakes actually cause the Great Lakes? I don't know. No, that's just wild speculation. I think they were discovered and inhabited by then. I just don't get it. It's wild, but it definitely proves without a shadow, right? Like, exactly. That is why I am doing this, and that is why this is 5 reasons to rewrite history in your world and around you. Look at this. Grand Tartary. That's the Caspian. That's the Black Sea. And you have Mosul, Magog, Mol de Magog, Tartar, Range de Tartaria, another one of these river inlands and giant island on the lake, Tartary Desert. So now there's a desert starting to form in Tartaria. And like the rivers here in Negrit, Zar, Barbari, Nubi, they still have the rivers with the cities and townships throughout the Sahara, but Ethiopia, Congo, are you kidding me? 1684. 1684. And Chini, Mogoli, Indi, Persi, Arabi, everything's already named everywhere. Mind blown. All right, looked at this one before. I guess for 90-degree intersecting mountain ranges. Grand Tartari, in the Gatiski or something. I'll butcher that. And another episode we'll be doing is all the maps of the advanced Starfort cities everywhere in this time period around the world. Yeah, right? Like, was it BC? Probably. Freaking wild. I don't know. It's crazy. Crazy things. What was going on back then? We really don't know. Really don't know. West Ocean, the Tartarian Sea. Tartarian Sea, look at all of these inland rivers, lakes, and named townships and mountain ranges. Pretty wild. Here we go. One more to end it off with. Again, we do not have the Great Lakes existing at this mapping time period. There's still written of towns along Antarctica that was connected to Australia. Wild stuff. Wild, crazy Tartarian maps. What a good Tartarian one to end on, because we have America, Paris, Europe, Tartaria. We have a whole bunch. See, look, here we have trees depicted. This was a little bit older, and now in that last one it said Tartarian Desert, but here there's actually rivers and towns and civilizations throughout it and forests. Tunguskia. Tunguskia is still called that then. Wow. Well, we will give us an age. Date for this map? No. Come on, where's the date? 615? 615? When was 615? Calm German miles. Tartaria, calm German miles. Like, what? Nope. Go here. Chuki, Tataria. Oh, Tataria, Tindik, Tartur, Ham, Balur, China region Pars. Tajikistan. Brahmas. Caspian Sea. Well, we will let her be at Nova Zembia, the Tartarian Frozen Sea, and more that it is Russian. Naren more that it is in Russian the Still Sea. It's the Still Sea then. Started to freeze. But it had frozen. Alright. On that note, gonna cut her off here at 1 hour. I love you all. We'll probably be back later on today, but gotta go. Thank God for gotta go get my dad from the hospital. He had a successful surgery and now recovering. Just had a little stomach surgery, got something removed, but it's always prayer answered when your family member is going to the hospital. So on that note, I gotta go drive through the snow. My God, it is snowing right now. Welcome to Canada. Let's see. You can see outside. It's really bright because it's snowing. No, it's not gonna focus. Too bright. On that note, love you all. Have a blessed day. Until we meet again. Ta-ta.
You crazy mother. Yeah.
It's just Bernie!
Hey, Bernie, just like last week, huh?
Weekend at Bernie's.